We do digital and solid state in here a lot. And mechatronics, our mechatronics lab is next door. That's a new lab. We'll go over and probably look at it a little bit. Let Lavana give y'all the tour. She's an expert already. But it's messed up now because we're getting a bunch of new equipment and stuff. What we're going to do is go over the course syllabus. What we gave there is what we call a brief. We don't give out the syllabi for the class, syllabus for the class anymore, because of the amount it costs to college to run off all the syllabuses for all the classes that we teach each semester. So what we do is we post the official course syllabus on Blackboard. And y'all, for this class, you need to know how to log into Blackboard. You need to keep a lot of our tests to be on Blackboard. A lot of assignments will be through Blackboard, so you need to make sure, freeze the screen. You need to make sure you learn your username and your password. Hopefully by now y'all have used these, but it always surprises me. I get people in advanced classes that don't know their password to get on Blackboard. Of course, the name of the class is ETC127 Digital Electronics. So that's what we're going to be learning about this term. And when we get to this, all the sites, most of our sites should be pretty well the same. We're trying to standardize the way our department puts their websites together, or their Blackboard site together, to make it fluid. What we're looking at is this section right here, is this first week quizzes and assignments. Sorry. If you can't remember, you'll need to go by and have them reset your password. This section right here, first week quizzes and course information, this is what we'll look at primarily on the website tonight. By the way, during the Christmas break, they did a major upgrade on Blackboard. So here's, this should be obvious, this is where our course syllabus is located. There's another copy of the brief. So the information on the brief is going to be the days the class missed. So what we do, instead of trying to change our brief and change our syllabi, what we decided to do is leave the syllabus alone and then give out a different brief every time. So the information that's on the brief, of course, is the days the class meets, the room the class meets in, also the contact information and the alternate contact if you can't get in touch with me. The alternate contact would be Mr. Donnell Perry. Also, since we print this off, but notice it's only on one sheet of paper, so you can carry it with you at the bookstore when you start looking for your book. It also gives you the required supplies for the class, and it also lists the required textbook for the class. So anybody got their textbook? Anybody got? Yeah. So show it to them, Kareem. This is textbook that we'll be using, and we do use the textbook in our classes, by the way. I know they were fussing at some of the instructors at the faculty meeting this time where we have teachers that require students buy a book and then they never use the book. Yeah, and I know that's kind of frustrating because these books are not cheap. They're very expensive. I don't know how much this book costs, but I'm sure they don't give it away. Technical books are real expensive anyway because of the number of copies they run. They don't run near as much as some of the publishing houses run for some of these books. That they.
This one is 6th edition.
That's not for this class. That's solid state. You in solid state?
Is that the one we gave? Oh. Yeah, concept.
Oh, really?
Which one? You have yeah. I just showed him that for this class, and he's the one who removed this book and gave it. I just went and this one. It's a 6th edition. ISBN number also is different on this one. Yeah, this is the 4th edition. He says 6th edition. No, that's not even right.
No, this is a different thing. This right here is
Concept stuff.
yeah, this digital.
Digital electronics.
That right there is
So
this Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
This Monday and Wednesday.
Are you taking the solid state class here today? Second day of class solid state. Is this book over there?
No.
Both. I got both in
Really? Are you taking solid state? Well, you probably need to take that book back. And
Okay. Because we just what I have.
I agree with you, but they got the wrong book. This is the book. This is the book for this class.
Okay.
And if it's not over there, I'll try to call and see what we can do and see if they can get it. See if they can get it taken care of. So we'll try to. I know that's really going to be rough. We'll have to figure out what we can do if we can't get the books in. If you're in the solid state class during the day, then you're okay. But if you're not, then this is the textbook we're supposed to have for this class right here.
I think that he pulled out the wrong.
I thought I noticed that they had the wrong books over there, and I thought I contacted them and told them that that was the wrong book, but undoubtedly there was a miscommunication. So we'll see what we do. But this is the book right here, so I'll try to figure out what's going on tomorrow. I know the bookstore over there. We're having, I don't know, last year we turned the bookstore over to a private company. So the college does not run the bookstore anymore. And of course there's some little things that goes on until we get this worked out. So I apologize for that, guys. I can't even call the people at the college. And I used to be real good friends with the bookstore manager, and I could call him up and he could take care of things for me. But like I said, it's outsourced. It's outsourced now. So this is the name of the book. The lab book, we run the labs books off, and the labs off because the lab book that we used to do did go out of print. So you don't have to buy the lab book. We'll run the labs off and give them to you. Of course, we can do that.
The same lab book which we use in previous course for the DC?
No, you'll use that same lab book when you take solid state. We use the lab book that you buy in DC. In DC, we use that for DC, AC, and solid state. So that's 3 classes you'll use that one. This will be the only class you use that lab book in, but like I said, you don't have to buy it anyway because I'll print the labs off for you. Because the lab book that we have, and digital lab books are hard to find, but the lab book that we used to do went out of print. So that means since it's out of print, we can legally run them off and give you copies of it now because you wouldn't be able to buy it anyway. So there's no lab, so there's really there's a lab book for the class, but it's not one you have to buy. So the textbook, I'm sorry, I wish I could let y'all borrow my copy, but hopefully if it's not, we'll just put a lot more detail into the PowerPoints, and y'all can use those. If something else comes on, we'll have to do that. So solid strand wire, we might have enough solid strand. Try to get it, but if you can't get it, they used to stock it in the bookstore, but I don't know if they do it now. Of course, solid strand wire is wire. Don't buy what we call stranded wire. So this is solid strand wire. This is the actual gauge that you need to buy, and you'll be using this for all your classes. Y'all know the difference between stranded wire and solid strand wire. Yeah, 22 gauge. Don't get any smaller. If you do, it won't stay into the breadboards that we use for our circuits. And if you get bigger, you damage our breadboards when you put them in there. Digital multimeter. If you're in the electronics program, then you need to make sure you get a digital meter that has the ability to measure milliamps and millivolts, and make sure it's what we call a Category 3 meter. Y'all understand that? Should be right, Cat 3 meter. That would take care of everything that you need to do here. If you're in the electrical trade, then a clamp-on out meter would probably be what you need, because you'll use that more than you will a regular meter. The meter is probably one of your most used tools that you'll have, so if you invest the money in this, then that's good. So don't go out and buy a Harbor Freight meter. Those things are not rated. They're not at categories. Wire strippers, of course, to strip your wire off with. Needing those pliers to insert these things. We're going to be doing a lot of wiring. The circuits themselves look very impressive. I don't know if we got wire here. We do. This is not our trainer, but they look impressive because they have a lot of equipment in the same. They have a lot of circuitry, and the wires get really close together, and trying to get into the wires themselves. It's not easy. I don't even know what this guy does. I think it's a digital clock. So wiring these circuits up gets pretty hairy. This is the solid strand wire. This is the unit we call a breadboard. These are not the trainers we're using anymore, but these are integrated circuits, and these are what we're going to be dealing with this time. And you can see the wires get really close together. And a lot of times the needle powers have to get them in and out a lot better. So I don't know what this guy here does. If it works, it's been slapped around right there. They don't do anything. Huh? Yeah, I know, and I'd have to figure out where it goes. But this looks impressive, but once you understand what we call pinouts and stuff like that, circuits, it would be a lot easier to connect this circuit than it would be to connect all the components that make the circuit go. Safety glasses with side shields. Anytime you're working in lab, since we're working with wires, and the wires have pretty sharp points on them, if something happened, you got this into your eye, you'd be in trouble. We're stripping wires and stuff like that. So anytime we're in lab, we'll be wearing safety glasses. That's the only requirement for the class. And then just standard classroom supplies. You need to check your blackboard every day. We really use Blackboard in this class and all the classes in our program. If you had any of our classes, requirements for Blackboard. What we do, I don't know about the other classes y'all have, but what we do during the first week is we set up some quizzes that you have to take. I got this from my days when I was in college, where but they didn't. We heard about it, but he didn't tell us this. But my professor came in and gave out the syllabus the first class, and guess what he did the second class? Gave us a test on it. So we have a syllabus quiz that you'll do, and they're not hard. So after you read the course syllabus, then you come in. So first week, and these are all due. First week quizzes and agreements. You click on that. We have a syllabus agreement, which basically comes up here it's kind of like when you install software on your computer, that little EULA pops up there, or you just don't read it, right? And basically, this just says to us, so we have a document now that says, by clicking on and submitting agree for this option below, I understand and acknowledge the syllabus is a binding contract between myself and the college. I agree with its contents and that kind of information. It says that if you wasn't here during the first day of class and you watch the recording, so I don't know if y'all can see this little box around here, so we record the class. So that way, if you're absent on the day of the class, you can always go back and look at this when they get up there. So what happens if you click on agree? Now there's no argument about the syllabus. You come in and people say, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And we had a class where we had the instructor sent me an email wanting to know where the lab books were at. And guess what? The students were supposed to have what? They were supposed to have bought the lab books. And so when they went over there, they said, well, that's, it's in the syllabus that it says these are your required supplies. You're required to buy this book, and you didn't buy it. So, but it was pretty funny. He's not teaching with us anymore. So this was almost at the end of the term, and they hadn't done any labs because they didn't know where the lab books were. And the problem was that he had came through our program. That's what we couldn't understand. So he knew how the program worked. So you click on this agree, and then later on, if we have problems with something that you disagree with us about the syllabus, then we show that you said that you did what? Agree. So if you don't do this, then that means you can't take the class, right?
Do you have to remind how to leave a little bit?
Yeah, we will. It should be on the syllabus quiz. I got a piece of software and it's free. Well, this is what. So we have a syllabus quiz. We have a fire and evacuation quiz. We have a fire and evacuation procedure. And then we have another thing that says I'm going to agree with the dress code for the college. And this was brought about by people wear all kinds of stuff at school that they shouldn't be wearing. So the college has a dress code, and the dress code is up here. Course syllabus. So your actual course syllabus, let's look that over real quick. So the brief is actually part of the syllabus. And so what we do is so up here now under classes meet, it says see brief and structured content. Description of the course, you can read it just as much as good as I can. Everybody in here should have had the ET100 at least, right? Okay. The required textbook is in the syllabus, and unfortunately, it looks like the bookstore don't have the right textbook over there. So if you've already bought your textbook, they're going to try to sell you the solid state textbook. Like I said, I'll try to figure out what's going on. Blackboard, this is what we're going to be doing during the semester. This is the way we scale. This is the way you're graded. So just completing these first week quizzes, that's 2% of your grade. Okay. Tests, we have four tests during the term. This is 25% of your grade. Assignments are 13%. Labs are 35%. Required supplies are 5%, and the final exam is 20%. So when you look in there, when you look at the grade book, it's got all these averages. You just can't add the averages together and divide them by 5, right? You understand that? Because why? Because each one of them has more weight than the others. I had a student email me a nice email saying he deserved to be in the class because when he added the averages up, it came up with a B. And he said, I got a C, and he wanted to know why. And I sent him a nice email back, and I said, well, your syllabus quiz don't have the same weight as your final exam. So if you make 100 on all these quizzes, that's not, and you make 0 on these, you're still going to have a big problem. So when you calculate the average, you can take your averages and multiply it by these percentages, and then you can add the numbers up on the right-hand side, and that would give you your grade Tests, we give 4 tests during the term. We don't give makeup tests. This is just the way I do tests. So what we'll do is we'll have a test. Normally we have our test at the end of class. What we try to do is on test days, we try to be in lab the first part of the class, and then we take the test at the end. And in that way, if you get through with the test early, you can leave. If we gave it at the first of the class, then you would have to hang around because we don't do a test and go home like a lot of instructors do. We just got too much information to do that. So what we do is we have a test one day, next class day we go over the test. If you wasn't here and you want to do a makeup test, guess what I can't do the next class? I can't go over the test with everybody else. So what we do is we drop your lowest test score. So that means if you can't make it, make it for a test, then that would be your lowest test score. And of course, if you miss a lot of days, if you miss more than one test, then you've got problems anyway in the class, right? Everybody understand that? So we don't do makeups. Final exam, there's no one exempt from the final exam. What we do is we do 4 tests, and then we take questions off those 4 tests and move them to the what? To the final. So what the final is, it's just a real good review to move before you move on. And so if you do bad on the final, you're going to have problems anyway. So nobody's exempt from the final. This explains the first week quizzes, which you've already gone over. The syllabus agreement is due before the next class. So you need to go in, look at the syllabus, and then do the syllabus agreement before you come to the next class. And then assignment 1, which is completing all those first week's quizzes, is due by midnight Friday. Okay? Assignments are posted on Blackboard, so if you look at Blackboard, you'll see right here is what? Assignments. And the first assignment is worth 50 points. It says read the course syllabus, safety evacuation plans. Then assignment 2 is done the next week. And then a last assignment. So right now we have 3 assignments posted. There's some more in here, but they're not being displayed. So class assignments, what we do with class assignments is I put a due date. If you don't submit them by the due date, then we take out, they're worth 50 points. And these are all submitted online, so you don't have to be here to submit these assignments. So what we do is we take off 10 points for every day they're late. So if they're 5 days late, off of what you make, not off the 50 points of what you make. So if you make 10 and you miss, then, okay, y'all understand that? So those due dates will be posted on the course calendar. Course calendar is right here. So the test date should already be set up for the class. So first assignment due, last day withdrawal to get a partial refund. And then this right here is the what? Test 1. So right here on January the 2nd, that's when the first test will be given.
February 2nd.
I'm sorry, February 2nd. Oh, we're in trouble, right? Second test is here. Any term ends here. So you can see this is really, really important. Spring break is right here. By the way, we'll have to work out what we're going to do, what we'll probably do in this. Right now, we're scheduled to be gone. I'm scheduled to be gone these weeks right here. We're going to Germany to offer to be able to offer a certification that we're working on. We're being certified to offer a mechatronics certification here at the college, and we're already certified to offer a short certificate type certification. We call it level 1. Level 2 is an associate's degree type certification. It's a 2-year certification, and that's what we're going to get qualified or certified to teach. So that'll be 2 classes or 4 classes here that I won't be here. So what we'll probably do then, and like we'll say, well, this is still a pretty good way off. What we'll probably do here is we'll do class online. Okay, so you probably need access. Everybody got access to a computer at home? You can do. So we'll probably do it that way, and then so what we'll do during those weeks is probably double up on lectures, and then we'll come back and do more labs when we get back.
So like from 13 to 31st.
Yeah, but this week right here is spring break anyway. So it should only affect us, it should, yeah, 14,
And after 16,
14, 16, 21, and 23. Right now, if anything changes, tentatively we're scheduled to leave on the 13th and come back on the 1st. But if something changes, then I'll let you know.
You gonna do that for all?
Huh?
You gonna do that for all the classes? I got 3 classes.
Yeah, you're gonna get bored of me. Well, no, it won't affect the troubleshooting class because the troubleshooting class ends right here.
Yeah.
So the troubleshooting class will end right
I
there.
picked another class.
Yeah, the class after that would be the motor controls class. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to do that for motor controls. You know, solid state and digital, right? So you'll be having fun. Of course, that could change, but right now that's what we're scheduled to go right here. Yeah, I know. That's what I heard. I looked up the average temperature, and it was like 40 something degrees.
Yeah,
and that's the average.
Even in the
In March,
it's
yeah.
It's snowing and I have to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Siemens has a real nice campus there, though. I don't. And it's Berlin. Berlin.
Final is on April 4th. Final is on April 4th.
It should be. Yeah, that's when the term ends, April. No, it goes through May. Is it down for April?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go back and check that.
That's what I was wondering. This goes up to May 5th.
May. So it's probably May 4th. It's probably May 4th. Does it say 4th or April? It does say May. This calendar is kind of weird because sometimes it shows the next month.
Oh yeah, fine. That's what I was.
Is May? Is it May? May 4th. Topic quizzes, what we do for every unit of instruction, there's a topic quiz up there. So I'll show y'all in a minute how that's laid out. We have quite a few worksheets in this class that we give out for homework. By the way, worksheets are also up on Blackboard. I'll give you, if you're here, you get the worksheet. If you're not here, what can you do? You can download them on yourself. If you're absent on the day that a worksheet is due, if you got a scanner, you can scan it and send it by email. If you don't have a scanner, you can take a picture of it so I can read it and submit it that way. And that way, even though you're absent, you can get credit for the worksheet. Okay. You can attach it to email. By the way, any email from the class, don't send it from a weird address. Somehow I closed that Blackboard. What you need to do is use from your Lawson email account, but do it through the website. So you notice over here on the left hand side, you have a link that says what? Email instructor. Now, when you use this one, what happens is the mail is sorted into a folder that belongs to this class. So it's not like me trying to go all through my email, trying to figure out who sent the email and who didn't, because it'll come into the folder. But only if you use this link. So when you use this link right here, it automatically puts in the subject line, it automatically starts off with the information about the class, and then you can add anything you want to it. And then, of course, down here on the left-hand corner is where you can do what? You can attach a file if you're not here when these worksheets are due. So if you got access to a scanner, you can scan it and attach it. If you don't have access with a scanner, just about everybody has a phone. Most of your phones have pretty good cameras on them now. You can snap a picture of it and do what? And attach it here. Are you okay?
So on assignments, we have to check the email.
Yeah, what we're doing is verifying that everything works okay, that I've had email counts, that goes into junk even though you use your lost in state account for some reason. So what we're doing is when you come in and you use this send email, so when you send me email about this class, what I want you to do is log into Blackboard and use what? Email, use this right here. And so that's that assignment. I think when you look at the assignment number 2, it tells you to use this link for that reason. And what we're doing is verifying that it comes in, that it's sorted okay, and everything's okay that way. So if you send me an email, what I do as soon as when I check my email and I see it, I'll send you a response saying you have completed this assignment. And so if you don't get that within a week, then you need to do what? You need to come and let me know that you didn't get it, and we'll try to figure out what's going on with the email. Because the email is what I do. Anytime I post an announcement, I also send it out by email. So that's two forms that we could do. Also, we use something, and I'll put the link up here too. We use something called Remind, which is a texting utility, which allows me. And if you look at the syllabus quiz, the second question in the syllabus quiz asks if it's okay if I use this phone number that you provide to send you text messages. It was found out, it's been proved that people check their text messages a lot more often than they check their email. So even if I send you email, that's important. And by the way, if you look at the, I've got the, let me cancel this. So if you look in the safety and evacuation, which you're required to go in there, a couple things that's hard to find out about the college is the campus police. So these are the numbers for the campus police. You probably need to go ahead and put those into your cell phone. And also, it gives a link so you can sign up for Google Alert. Yeah, if you've already done it, that's fine. Because this, if you notice, that's really, really good feature here at the college. They can send out mass. Sometimes it gets annoying sometimes, but it's a lot better to know you don't need to come to school than to come all the way over here, right? So this is the main communication for sending out alerts that the college uses. So if you hadn't signed up for Google Alerts, you can get it through the safety section of it. So under the safety and evacuation, so under first week, safety and evacuation, here's the dress code policy, children on campus policy, which basically says you're not allowed. If you're a smoker, Lawson is considered a smoke-free place. So where are you supposed to smoke at on campus? Anybody know? Yeah, there is. No. The designated area is all the way up on the hill by that fence that runs around the interstate. If you look, you'll see there's still smoke where you can get rid of your butts. All I say is, it's your responsibility. If security or police come over here and get onto you, that's fine. But don't smoke outside my door right there. Right? So I know we take 10-minute breaks, and it's going to be almost impossible for you to lug all the way up to the hill up there and smoke on that fence, and then do what? Yeah, get back down. So I'm not going to tell you where to smoke. If Nancy saw you out there, she'd probably jump on you. And guys, I quit smoking. That was one of the smartest things I ever did in my life. So if you're a smoker, yeah. So, and that was one of the hardest things I've done in my life too. Topic quizzes, worksheets, labs. It says student provided lab manual, so I hadn't requested that. So I'll give out the lab manual. Like I said, the lab manual that we've been using went out of print, so we can't get it anymore. Now what we'll do, the way the lab works is we work with lab forms. Most of the time students at the end of the semester wants their labs back, and I can understand that. But we have to keep records of your grades for how we came up with your grades for 5 years. So what we do in this class and all the classes I teach that has lab in it, we do lab forms. So what you do is you fill in all this information on your lab form, and then when I grade your lab, I take off points and everything on the form, and then at the end of the term, I keep the form. And in that way, I have a record of how I came up with your grade that I can keep for my records. Now I've got one sheet of paper instead of a bunch of labs, and then what I can do now is I can give your lab back if you want them. If you don't want them, what do we do is we shred them. So that's up to you if you want them back. So what we do is once we finish the last circuit, once you finish constructing a circuit, we put and they have lab questions at the end of every lab. So the way it works is that what we try to do here when we're lab, we try to do the lab. And then we let you answer the questions on your lab at home. So that means when you finish a lab, I put a due date on it, which will be the next class. And then you can take the lab home and do the lab questions at home and then bring it back and turn it in. That makes sense? That way, when we're here, we're not wasting time answering these text questions. When we're here, we're wiring circuits and making measurements, and we can get a lot more labs done that way. Everybody understand it takes at least a C to pass the class. So if you make a D in the class, what do you have to do? You have to take it over. This is wrong too. We used to use a recording program we call Integrity. It was really neat because it took care of everything for me. It automatically put a link on Blackboard for us. When I got through recording, I'd just hit stop and it would automatically upload for me. It'd go into the right class and all that other kind of stuff. This was costing the college a lot of money, like $80,000 a year. To license this software for use for the college. And when they did a survey of all the students about using Integrity, about 1% of the student body said they used this. So this is one of the pieces of software that they got rid of. What they did do, which saved them a ton of money, is they went to another package called Screencast-O-Matic. And that's what this is right here. By the way, if you're going to make recordings and like upload them to YouTube, you can download a version of Screencast-O-Matic unless you make, I think, like 5 or 10 minute videos. We got a license on it, so we can make it as long as we want to. But instead of the lectures automatically uploading to Integrity, I have to upload them to YouTube, which takes as long as the lecture does. And then I have to go into YouTube and link it back into Blackboard. So in the old days, I didn't have to worry about this. So if you're expecting these lectures to pop up the night of the lecture, usually I have time to do it because my computer's got to be plugged in and running when they upload them. So if I change classes and I have to take my computer with me, they're not going to get uploaded, but I usually try to do it on the weekend. So it's a lot more to it, but I can understand why they did it because it saved the college $80,000, but it's very inconvenient as far as what it takes to get them up there now. So we're recording this right now. So it's not Integrity now. I'll go back and redo this. I thought I redid this on the Integrity. So what we do is we upload them. And what you'll see is when you go to the Blackboard site, over on the left-hand side of the Blackboard site, if I can get back to it, you'll see a button that says Recorded Lectures. And then you'll go in and click on that, and then the recorded lectures will be there. What you have to understand, it says recorded lectures are the property of Austin State Community College and are not to be distributed without permission from the college. Recorded lectures are produced during actual classroom settings. These recorded lectures are not edited for content, time, or accuracy. Y'all understand that? And I go back to myself and I say, Rich, I can't believe you said that. And it should be noted that on occasion, this is the technology, And I did it a lot, trying to learn how to use it, where I wouldn't upload them right and I didn't link them right. So don't put all your beams on recorded lectures, because sometimes they don't quite work out right for us. Students, it says on rare occasions lectures will not upload. Students that are absent are required to go in and look at these lectures. So really, there's really no excuse for saying, well, I didn't know what y'all went over with last class. I was absent, right? Y'all understand that? So I was telling my day class, I taught a class over at Hoover High School. It was a career class, and I realized then I would never teach in high school. And them students would flat argue with teachers that they wasn't responsible for what was covered when they were absent. I guess they wasn't. Attendance, if you're gonna be absent a lot, it doesn't affect this class as much as if you're in any mini-term classes and you're absent, if you have a tendency to be absent, you're in trouble. I mean, probably well over 90% of the people I fail, or that fail my class, I don't fail anybody, they fail it, is because they don't come to school. And that's one of the most frustrating things out there. You know, somebody that's could make A's in classes and they fail them because they don't do what? Don't show up. I've got a guy that's in my class. He's probably been kicked out of school, but he's probably one of the smartest people I've seen in a long time. He's failed every class he's taken from me because he don't take final exams. He just stops coming. Just stops coming. Every class. Never done. So I hadn't seen him around the semester, so he's probably out. We start the class on time, so if you got a tendency to come in late, don't do that. Forced withdrawals, if you stop coming, you're not with, this is the problem. I have this problem right here, where people just stop coming, they won't withdraw from the class. And I legally cannot drop you from a class. Y'all understand that, right? So what do I do if you don't show up? I grade you like you're what? Like you're here. Y'all understand that? So if you miss a test, you get a 0. You don't turn in a lab, you get a 0. And what do you get at the end of the term? You get an F, right? And this is what's so dang frustrating is we have people, and you can do this online. In the old days, you had a drop form, and you had to take it to every one of your instructors and get them to sign it. Now you do it online. So you go online, up in the quick league section, you click on that, drop down, find the drop ad, and you can do it online. So there's really no excuse. Cal, yeah, in the hospital. He was in the hospital last semester. He had a problem, and he was in the hospital and couldn't attend class, but he still dropped it, and he was in the hospital. So, you know, there's really no excuse for not dropping a class. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do now. If it looks like you're going to fail the class, and I've had people do that too, where they take the first test and they do real poorly on it, and they think they need to withdraw. But you don't have to withdraw. You can stay in the class until about the last 2 weeks of the course. And if you drop before what we call the last day to withdraw, then you will receive a W in the class, which is just like you didn't take it. So it's just like an audit. I don't know if anybody's heard about auditing classes, and you can do that where you pay full tuition and you don't get a grade in the class. And I know people that used to do that in college to make A's. So they'd audit a class. These were people that had a lot of money. They'd audit a class, and then they'd do what? Then they'd come back and take it for grade. And then I've had seniors that come in that wanted the knowledge, but they didn't want a grade, and they would just audit the class. So if you get a W, that's basically what it is. To get credit for it, you'll have to retake it, but it don't do what? But now you've went through the class once, and now you don't get to where you dropped out after the first test, and then you fail all the rest of the tests because now it's all new material. So if you're having problems with the class, then I recommend that you stay in the class until that last day to withdraw. And then next time you take it, it's like an audit of the class, right? You'll understand that. Yeah, it's just like you fail. Well, if you fail the class, The problem with failing a class, it all depends. Normally, financial aid will not, and I'm get confused on this sometimes. From my understanding, financial aid will not repay for a class you fail. Huh? Well, that's not true. They pay once. This is where we get into the problem with the D. So the D is that gray area where if you make a D in the class, financial aid considers a D to be what? Passing. Financial aid considers it to be passing for a D. Lawson State considers it to be what? Failing. So we've had students that made D's in the classes, and then the next time they retook it, they had to pay out of pocket. Now, from what I understand, they slacked up on that a little bit, but as far as I know, like I said, I'm not a financial aid expert, but I know for a fact this happened before in my classes, where a student made a D, and then the next time they retook it, they had to pay for it, because financial aid considers a D to be passing. Well, all this y'all can read: academic integrity, student code of conduct. Y'all gonna need to read this. Disabilities. I had problems with this before, where a student comes on and wants me to make special considerations because of a disability, but it's not a documented disability. Y'all understand that? So if you got any special needs in the class, we'll take care of you, but it's got to be documented, because I can't make special considerations for one person unless they have a documented disability that says, okay, they need this extra time. You know, I've taught classes with interpreters in there. I had one student, we couldn't get an interpreter. It was really neat. So what he had this computer that was wireless. It was nothing but text, and he could bring it up and put it on my desk, and he could ask questions. That's the way he asked questions in class. And we got a stenographer, a court reporter that came in and basically keyed in the lecture while I was lecturing, and he was reading the lecture like that. And now she's in the business. She got out of courts, and now she does that for a living. She goes around and does that, transcribing lectures for people who have hearing impairment. It was really cool. So I could answer his questions. He'd pop up here, and I could type in his questions when I'd read the questions to the class. But so what you do is you need to contact. If you're on this campus, contact Ms. Renee Herndon, Dr. Herndon. She's over the ADA compliance on this campus. On the Birmingham campus is Miss Janice Wilson. There's her numbers. Make an appointment with her. Take your paperwork in there, and then what they'll do is they'll give you a document that you send to me, that you'll bring to me and hand it to me, and then if we can, we'll make those for you. If we can't, some things we can't. But cell phones and pagers, we want to make sure you put your cell phone. Pagers are not used much anymore, but this is part of the official syllabus. Most people use their cell phones as their pagers now. You need to make sure you put it on the the inaudible mode when it's in here. Of course, harassment and discrimination. We don't have any harassment or discrimination in our classes. This is children on campus. You can't bring your kids to school. And we've had that happen before. And this is about it, guys. These are just notes about. Sometimes we can. If you're having problems with the class, we can work around that and do things. Usually, we have to make it available to the whole class. So, if we do anything special for you, don't cheat, guys. They were talking about actually adding, if you were suspended from the college from cheating, they were talking about adding that to your transcript. So what that would do is if you went anywhere, it would do what? It would follow you. And it's the responsibility of the student to inform the instructor if you arrive late or eat early. This is a safety consideration here. So if you come in late after I call roll, if you come in late, then you need to let me know you're here. Just always say, Rich, or if you have to leave early, don't ask for my permission, because if you ask for my permission, I'm going to tell you what, No, you're an adult. Rich, is it okay if I go? Like, no. And usually I give you a little lecture about what you're going to miss out on. But you know, you're an adult, and you don't have to have an excuse to leave. So if you need to go, just say, Rich, I need to go. I need to leave a little early tonight. You know, don't say, Rich, is it okay if I go? I'll say what? Say no. But if you come in late or leave early, just let me know. So if you need to go, just let me know you're going, and that way, if something comes up and we're looking for people. I taught a class one time, and we had a student here, and when I left, his mom had come to pick him up, and he was nowhere to be found. And he had left a little early, but he had went up, and he didn't tell me, and he had went upstairs, and he was up in the break room up there, and everything was locked down, and he couldn't get out of the building. They had the campus police driving around looking for this guy, and the mom was all upset. So it was about 11 o'clock by the time I got out here, and sure enough, here he come trucking out when he finally found the door he could get out of. So that was one example. Just let me know, you know. Of course, it's your responsibility to drop the course, right? It talks about the syllabus quiz and acknowledgement, and then profanity. We don't use profanity in my classroom. So that's basically a pretty good brief on the syllabus. You're supposed to go in and read it. Like I said, there's a syllabus quiz on there. If you got two computers, or you got a split screen, or you can bring up the syllabus on one. You know, all our computers multitask, so you can actually have the syllabus up there when you're taking the quiz. But most of it's pretty straightforward. Have y'all taken these syllabus quizzes before? They're pretty much well the same. I try to vary some of mine just to keep them. And if you do it for one class, it don't count toward the other one, right? Y'all understand that? I've had that happen before too. Well, I took it in the other class. So, okay, so what's your name? Okay, so we'll figure out what's going on, so I'll get you on road. You did get a syllabus brief, right? Okay. You did, huh? Yeah, I know, that's why I counted him absent, so I go in. So I'll go in and say. So y'all can go ahead and let's take a break, about 10 minutes before we get into our first class. People hadn't been in the building before. There's drink machines upstairs. You can go upstairs. There's an elevator all the way down on the other side. And restrooms, you go to the right, you take the first right. There's also restrooms upstairs too, if you want to go up there.
Maybe I'll go to the bookstore and come back.
Yes,
Yeah, they don't.
Starting?
Yeah, they don't have that. Oh, to give that book back.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't have the other one because I noticed it and I sent a mail in there saying that they had the wrong book, and they never answered me back.
So
So
I look up online on Amazon or something like that.
yeah, I'm sure they have the book.
I'm going to come this one.
My son was taking a class at Jeff State, and he ordered a book from Amazon. I forgot what class he was taking. It was an anatomy class or something. And guess what plane it was on? The one that crashed coming into the Birmingham airport. His book. They sent him another one, but I thought that was interesting. So when he said Amazon, I thought about that.